North Central College's athletic programs began as simple field day community events. After 27 national championships and 111 individual national champions, the college's athletic program ranks among the elite in the nation. Today, North Central College welcomes 6 new members to its Athletic Hall of Fame. This 2011 class of inductees represents the best of the best among thousands of student athletes. As you're introduced to each inductee, you will see that in many ways their stories are similar to those of many other athletes. But they each had something extra that pushed them to greatness. John C. Jack Nothacker, class of 1960. Jack Nothacker was one of the Cardinals' top performers in his era for the football, baseball, and track and field squads. On the gridiron, Nothacker was an NAIA Little All-American in 1959, a 1959 All-CCI selection on both offense and defense, and a 1960 All-American Bowl participant. He was a 3-year track and field letter winner and a freshman record holder in discus throw. On the diamond, Nothacker was a 2-year letter winner and a starting pitcher. Byron Ware, class of 1963. On a roster full of trailblazers during North Central College's most successful era in men's swimming, Byron Ware was a major contributor to 3 NAIA team national championships. Ware was among the first African Americans in any level of collegiate swimming to win a national title. He was a recipient of 7 NAIA All-America certificates, a member of 4 straight College Conference of Illinois championship teams, the member of 3 NAIA national championship teams, and the 1961 200-yard breaststroke conference champion. Matt Richards, class of 1987. Long after his time as the pitching ace of some of the most successful baseball teams in North Central College history, Matt Richards remains a standard-bearer for future Cardinals. Richards was a 1987 NCAA Division III second-team All-American, a 2-time first-team All-CCIW selection, and was the 1987 CCIW Player of the Year. He remains the Cardinals' all-time leader in career wins, winning percentage, career shutouts, and single-season starts. Susan Boehm Randazzo, class of 1990. As the first All-College Conference of Illinois and Wisconsin selection in the history of the North Central College volleyball program, Susan Boehm Randazzo was a cornerstone for the Cardinals in the early days of CCIW competition. Randazzo is the only 4-time All-CCIW volleyball selection in school history, a 2-time All-CCIW volleyball tournament selection, and a member of the 1988 CCIW Championship volleyball team. Paula Monk-Savora, class of 1992. Paula Monk-Savora was the first female athlete to earn All-America honors in cross-country and indoor and outdoor track and field at North Central College. She was an All-American in cross-country, a 3-time All-American in track and field, the 1991 CCIW cross-country champion, and a 3-time CCIW outdoor 5,000-meter run champion. Savora graduated as the holder of 4 North Central records and is the 6th female North Central Athletic Hall of Fame inductee to have competed in track and field, but the first to have also competed in cross-country. Sean Welty, class of 1990. As North Central College's 6th individual national champion in men's track and field, Sean Welty was instrumental in establishing North Central as a perennial contender on the national scene. Welty was a 7-time NCAA Division III All-American, the 1988 Division III long jump national champion, a member of the 1989 NCAA Division III indoor and outdoor national championship teams, a member of 4 straight CCIW championship teams, and a 4-time individual CCIW champion. Congratulations to North Central College's 2011 Athletic Hall of Fame inductees. As the college celebrates its sesquicentennial, our Hall of Fame inductees leave a legacy to inspire future generations of North Central College Cardinals.
First of all, I'd like to thank North Central College for this wonderful ceremony. It's always a pleasure to come back and be a part of this, and especially to thank Susie Boehm Randazzo for asking me to be her presenter for the Hall of Fame. Hal, it must be a day for photo memories because I brought a prop with me today. And I know that those of you in the back can't really see this, but every day when I sit at my desk, my eyes wander to this photo. And it's a great picture, and if you can't see it, it's a group of women volleyball players celebrating a victory. Just a big group of people, you really can't pick out the individuals. But for me, it's more than just a win. It was a moment in a journey that included many young women who went on to have successful lives, but one woman in particular that I had the pleasure of seeing grow almost right before my eyes. Before I explain this photo, I have to tell the story that led to this celebration. I began coaching here at North Central College in 1985. Our team that year struggled mightily, not for lack of effort, but because we were very young and actually not the greatest volleyball players. Rick Spencer, head of admissions at that time, told me about a senior volleyball player in some place called Orion, Illinois. Being newly arrived in Illinois, I pulled out my map, searched, and sure enough, there it was, just a speck on the map, way west of Naperville, almost to Iowa. Player's name was Susan Boehm. I made the drive to Orion, and I was trying to think about this. I think perhaps the game was Orion versus Rockridge. Not sure how many of you know those two towns, but the one thing I am definitely sure of, that the best player in the gym that night was Susie. She could jump a mile, she had a quick arm, which resulted in a devastating kill, and she was a great athlete. She was everywhere on the court, she passed very, very well. On defense, picked up every ball, she was a blocker, she was doing it all, and it was just a great evening for me. I thought to myself, this is really somebody that could help our young team. So through the recruiting process, we had kept in touch, phone calls primarily. Then the day came, and I want to say it was sometime in January, when Susie's parents, Donna and Jean, brought Susie to Naperville to visit the campus. And I thought everything was going really well. Susie was interactive, she was kind of quiet, but they got to the point in the conversation where we started to talk about the fall season and coming on campus. And I looked at Susie and I thought, I've lost her. She looked absolutely petrified about the thought of leaving home, and I thought, this is going to be a deal breaker. But as it turned out, Susie arrived that next fall, and just as I thought, she was a great player. Athletic, well-skilled, she made an immediate impact on our team. And for the next 4 years, she was one of our top players, if not the top player. But for me, the most remarkable achievements came outside of volleyball. This shy girl from a small farm town had arrived in the city. I remember our van rides, 15 people in a 15-passenger van traveling all over Illinois and Wisconsin. You really get to know people when you travel together in a van, sometimes more than you care to know. Susie's laugh. I think of all the things I remember, that's the most distinctive thing. You'd start laughing before you even knew what had caused her to start in. Everybody just joined into the laugh and then at some point said, what's going on? What was the story here? Our first road trip to Chicago with a lot of the players looking up at the skyscrapers kind of in awe. Endless Kaufman sack lunches. Playing the Big Ten fight songs to wake up in the morning. Those are all memories of those early years. So you're probably wondering about this photo. Well, it's an interesting story because the photo parallels the story of Susie. 1988 arrived, Susie's junior year, and things really started to click for our volleyball team. We were 5-0 going into a match at Carthage, and we lost. They kind of had our number that season. But that set up a showdown with Elmhurst College, owners of a 64-0 winning streak in the conference. It was David versus Goliath, and you know what? David won. When the final point was scored, giving us a 3-1 victory, the women erupted in celebration. It's a story of perseverance, the little engine that could, gaining confidence, poise, and having a dream. And that's the story of Susie. Small town girl makes good. Susie graduated from North Central College with an elementary education degree, lived with my husband Steve and I, and that's a whole nother presentation, after she graduated while she was subbing. After years subbing and 5 a.m. phone calls for substitute jobs, she landed a teaching job, something that she was made for. Susie and Joel started dating, got married, have their son Nick. Susie went on to earn her reading specialist certificate from Northern Illinois and is currently employed by the Oswego School District. I am honored to have coached Susan Boehm Randazzo and have watched her grow to become the successful educator, wife, and mother that she is today, and to call her my friend. Please join me in congratulating Susan Boehm Randazzo.
Not a good way to start, it's upside down. Thank you, Marcy. And it's an honor to be standing next to all the former Hall of Famers as well, many who I know. I'm used to standing and speaking to teachers, parents, and students, elementary kids, first and second graders. So the view I have today is something I'm really not used to. I am from a small town, Orion, Illinois, 112 in my graduating class, population 1,800. We had a stoplight and a Pizza Hut when I was in high school. My road to North Central is very vivid to me. I do remember Rick Spencer coming to my high school visits. And a little fact, Miss Spencer was my 6th grade middle school gym teacher. So some of you might not know that. I also do remember Marcy driving out to see me play. And yes, the Orion Chargers were playing the Rockridge Rockets. And I remember before she came to see me play, I didn't know who she was, didn't know what she looked like. She didn't want to meet me ahead of time because that would cause me more anxiety, she felt, and it probably would have. And after the game, we spoke briefly, and the one thing that I wanted to know was if I would play. She assured me not only would there be a place for me on the team, but there would be a place for me on the court. So with much reluctance, not knowing if I wanted to leave my small town, reassurance from my parents, reassurance from Rick, reassurance from Marcy, this was the place for me. If I could have played volleyball all year long, I would have. I loved it. I loved the sport. I loved being a part of the team. I could serve, I could pass, I could set, I could hit, but what I loved most was hitting. Hitting was fun for me. It seemed effortless. I had the best setters, too. A hitter is nothing without your setters. They knew exactly where I liked the ball, and they knew exactly where I wanted it placed, and they put it perfectly in my hands every time. I had 3 setters when I was at North Central. Michelle Johnson, Angie Weber, and Tanya Zink were all phenomenal setters. Not only did I have a phenomenal coach, but I had some awesome teammates, too, and a few of them are here today. Kim Hodges was a back row specialist. She wanted me to make it clear today that the reason I had so many amazing hits was because she passed the ball to the setter. Was that good, Kim? Tammy Farron was our middle blocker and hitter. Jill Johnson, we played all around together as well. Marianne Janessa, who played with me for 4 years, who's my dear friend. She had many roles on the team. She was the cheerleader, she was the mix master, she was the dancer, she was the comedian, she made the van rides fun. Stacy Bielema, Sally Towns, and Colleen Murphy, all great friends and great volleyball players. And I can't forget another important person who also asked to be in my speech today. A lot of people asked to be in my speech today. I have to thank an amazing line judge, Carlos Barba. Is he here? Oh, he's up there! You made the speech too. Thank you to all my volleyball pals who are here today. I still enjoy coming to campus. I always have. I always will. I enjoy coming to homecoming. It's obviously all different now, from the big arenas and the concert halls, the huge stadiums. But I remember the small things in my experience at North Central. Sitting at the sundial that is no longer there, the many conversations I had with friends at the sundial, those of you who were in my class, we know about the sundial. Living in Rawl Hall for a couple years, not the ideal place to be, any of you that are still here. Sorry, you can't move up. My last 2 years were at Fort Hill, had 2 great roommates, Kathy and Jenny. Wonderful conversations at the Kaufman Dining Hall. The pumpkin ball tournament. Matt, I do remember the prairie runs. Yes, when you have your volleyball coach who's also the track coach, there's a lot of running involved. Running tandems, you all remember that. Running the X, some plays that we always did. And I do remember beating Elmhurst, the #1 team in the country. And on the way back from our Elmhurst match, a crazy lady driving the van home is on the horn. She's yelling out the window. That person was Marcy. And I remember people walking to class or to their dorm room, and no response from any of them, but we were just crazy on the inside of the van. And a very special quote, a very memorable quote by one of my volleyball friends. After a long drive, probably to Wisconsin somewhere, we get out of the van, we all pile out, and one of them says, "Are we where we are?" We all get out, we all look at each other. Yes, we are where we are. I'd like to thank my family. My parents are here from Orion. They've sat through so many volleyball games and sporting events. My sister Sandy and Mike are here from Moline. That's near the Quad Cities. And my husband and Joel and Nick are here too. Our son Nick is in 4th grade now. At the beginning of the year, he was asked to share with his class a variety of things about himself. And one thing on the list was his goals and his plans. I didn't know 4th graders needed goals and plans, but they do. So he told his class he was going to North Central College because that's where his mom went. And I told him that was great. And then I said, your mom might have to get a teaching job here. Rick? Jimmy? Keep me in mind. Nick, I hope you can come to North Central College. But I want you to know 2 things. We wear a lot of red. That's your mom's favorite color. And our mascot is the Cardinal. So you may become a Cardinal fan yet. A side note, I was rooting for the Cardinals in the World Series. And the reason for that is a lot of my family vacations were to St. Louis. We didn't go to Chicago. However, I married a serious Cub fan. I gave up on the Cubs. I moved to the Cardinals, and my family, my husband Joel and Nick, were rooting for Texas. So, Nick, you will become a Cardinal fan if you come to North Central. Thank you, Jimmy Miller, for the wonderful phone call last spring. I thought you were calling to talk about Celebrity Reading Night that I organized at my elementary school, where all the North Central athletes come. Didn't think you were calling to talk about me. Thank you. Thanks to Marcy. Where did she go? Thanks to Marcy and Steve. You can't say one name without saying the other. You were family, and I thank you. I had the time of my life at North Central College, and I'll never forget it. Thank you.